Well, welcome to the show, everyone. Tonight we have Jason with the Tooele County 2A on, and we're going to try some wine while we're at it. Got some Manitobox cellars here to try, and kind of get a push out for them. They've got 3 wines on sale right now. We're going to do a real quick sound test. Got 3 wines on. Okay, but anyway, so the Tooele County 2A, I think, was a movement a lot like the Utah County did to try to make the Tooele County a sanctuary county.
Yes.
For the Second Amendment. But we've been chatting on and offline, and you've mentioned that there's a couple of sticking points that we need to be concerned with. Yes. Both to kind of protect the 2A. We don't want to push the envelope because it might open up for the 2A to be abused.
Exactly.
Okay. And so, well, let's go ahead and pour ourselves a glass of wine. And this is a Chardonnay. I would love to tell you everything about Chardonnay, but I have a bit of a notepad to talk about. I went down and saw Meredith. Now, the Chardonnay is 40% oak, 40% amphora, and 20% still. It's a blend. And what that does with the oak and the still, it adds different flavors and senses to it. So let's go ahead and try it out. I don't know. You tried it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's wine.
It's wine. It smells good now.
It smells good. It's got a bitter taste to it.
Good. It has some tannins, a little dry.
Yes, it is dry.
Yeah. I like a drier wine myself. It's got a nice tart to it.
Yep.
So it's down at Manitobox Cellars, and we've got 2 others to try. And further on in the show, we'll flash up the contact information. But anyways, let's get back to some 2A talk. Now, the law is a law that defends the 2A from having counties break away from it and further restrict gun rights on their own.
Yeah,
correct?
what it is, it's
come in a little closer to
it's a state code 7610 500.
Okay.
And what it essentially states is that the counties cannot enact firearms laws.
Mm-hmm.
That is a state-only thing. And it was originally, I believe, put in place to prevent non-2A friendly counties from restricting firearms. And it came about, I was told by Councilman Hoffman, it came around when the University of Utah tried to ban concealed carries.
Oh, yeah.
And because they're state run, they had to say, no, you have, since we fund you, you have to do what the state wants. So they had to, there it is. That's the
So I'll go ahead and read it real quick. Uniform Law 1, the individual right to keep and bear arms being a constitutionally protected right. The legislature finds the need to provide uniform laws throughout the state. Except as specifically provided by state law, a citizen of the United States or a lawfully admitted alien shall not be. So it just says that gun laws are state laws.
Yes.
And it can't be broken down to county, city, district.
No, it cannot.
Okay. So I actually kind of agree with that.
And I do as well, because you don't want random counties going off and doing whatever they want.
It makes a good bulkhead. And a little note to any of the listeners out there, Utah is one of the very few states in the union that allows concealed carry in schools.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think there's 2 others.
I believe Oklahoma does.
Yeah.
and I believe Texas as well. I'm not positive on Texas.
Yeah. And so we're one of the few. And it's it's an important thing. And when it comes to concealed carry, that's someone who has gone through the elements to have their background checked and everything else. So I believe we want to maintain that. And but then again, has been some shootings in schools, and I think there was just one in Knoxville, Tennessee, the other day, and that one sounds like it was gang related, and it was an ongoing turf war between a group of young men.
That's what I understood too. And it sounded to me that the only actual shots fired were police at the guy with the gun. Yeah,
and that guy, it sounds like he went in there to threaten or to unnerve the other guys. And I don't know the whole story behind it. We definitely want to figure out how to limit those from happening. But I think an armed populace is a polite, friendly, courteous, and safe populace.
And I agree with that statement.
But anyway, so with that law being in place, whereas gun laws are state laws, it sounds like the idea would be to try to get the state to take on making itself a sanctuary, such as, okay, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I think Missouri made a law that made federal gun, or they proposed one. I think Missouri, I want to say Indiana, what was the other state? Was it Oklahoma or another state? They actually formed laws that said to one point or one degree or another, federal gun statutes are null and void. Now, it doesn't null and void the Federal Firearms Act, obviously, but it null and voids the any of the later state laws or state laws proceeding now. I would like to see them take another look at the Federal Firearms Act. That one, I think, has a lot of arbitrary stuff in it. I would like to see them look at sound suppressors being relaxed. I think we need to.
I do have information on that as well.
Do you?
Mike Lee just introduced legislation to make that simpler to get those and to void the tax on them.
Okay, and that would be good.
That just happened today or yesterday.
Good. Because that's, commonly, especially lately, that's been a 2-year wait for people.
Yeah.
So they'll buy the weapon, they'll buy the suppressor, and then they'll wait 2 years while the suppressor sits in the hands of the licensee that sold it to them. And so that's become kind of an arbitrary nuisance. And for anyone not familiar with suppressors, they don't make a gun silent. It's not like in the movies where you can shoot a gun even in a store and it'll be silent. The quietest you can get is a subsonic 22, and I think it still runs about 65 dBA, which is louder than you would want your headphones while you work out. So it's still loud, but what it does is it protects people's ears out on practice and training days. It's and I guess it could be used for ill, but then again, so can the whole rest of the gun can be used for ill, or the knife, or the vehicle they drove out there with, or, just a empty ammo can. I mean, you can use anything for ill. It can happen. So I think arbitrary laws need to be forgotten about. On to an M16. That is a select fire weapon. It's not a semi-automatic. It's a select fire where you can pick up the last M16 I carried in the Army was Fabrique Nationale. And you can pick up a Fabrique Nationale AR model, a semi-auto model, for around $1,200 right now. But to buy the M16 model with the Select Fire trigger in it, or the Select Fire hammer and roller in it, you're going to be looking at about 15 grand.
Yeah.
So that's already kind of a limited piece. Even like a Kalashnikov, you want to buy a Kalashnikov that has the Select Fire hammer in it, you're going to be looking, 15 grand. That's about the average going rate of them. So that already eliminates those from people who just want to commit that crime and get away.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that makes it an arbitrary law. It's not like in the Prohibition days, where the Thompson submachine gun only came one way and it wasn't all that expensive and you could buy it through Sears and Roebuck,
Yeah.
But anyway, so what moves can we do with the state?
Well, what we need to do is just contact, our representatives, which are Doug Sagers. I don't believe Merrill Nelson's in anymore. I think he retired.
Oh, Merrill's out, huh?
I don't know. I looked through there and I couldn't find him.
Well, he was in. He voted no on the constitutional carry.
Oh, did he?
So I don't know if he's still in or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I looked through the list of senators and all the House, and I didn't see him on it because I was looking for email addresses so I could email them.
Okay.
I did get word back from Doug Sagers that he actually sponsored the bill that actually died in the Senate this year. It was House Bill 76, which limited federal overreach on unconstitutional laws, et cetera, which it didn't come out and say firearms laws, but it was meant for firearms laws. And it died in the Senate. It didn't have enough time to get through. By the time it got through the House, there was like 5 days left in the session. The other thing because
they wasted their time on a stupid porn bill.
I know.
They wasted time on that. It's a bill that means nothing, does nothing.
We're one of the few states in the union that doesn't have a legislative session all year long.
Mm-hmm. Which I like that. Personally, I like that.
But it limits the time we have. And see, he did say in the email I got, in fact, he emailed me this morning, that he was going to reintroduce it next year.
Good.
So we'll see what happens with that.
We've had Doug on the show. I like Doug.
Yep.
And I think he is, he's good on Tooele.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah. And, I'll extend out. If there's any help we can give, let us know. We'll advertise it. We'll,
Yeah. But we just need to send those guys emails, phone calls, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant governor, even Sean Reyes, the attorney general, to contact all of these guys. The more emails they get, and make sure they're polite, thank them for their service. You don't go in there and just.
Well, yeah, you don't want to hammer them. You wait until they vote no, and then you hammer.
Then you hammer. Well,
anyways,
that's kind of a double-edged sword too.
Yeah,
I beat up
but no,
too much.
If you've got information on it too, if you've got any information, email him the information. I know Doug looks at if he's going to vote on something, he studies it. You know, he's a conscientious politician, so we definitely want to. We want to. Not just aid them, but we want to make it a friendly environment and make it a positive environment for them.
Yeah, and that's where we do fall short, is that people don't email these guys. They just think, somebody's doing it. But we need everybody's involvement. We need, and I put it in the 2A group all the time, hey, email them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get 3 or 4 people that say, oh yeah, I did. But I've got 1,800 members in the group, and I'm thinking, wow, that's.
Are you putting hot links right to their email?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depending on. Now that we're going to the state level, I don't have all of their things, and it was tricky when we went into the new council versus the commission, because their web address did not update that. It was like March before I even got emails of all the new council members.
Really?
So, yeah.
Huh.
which we do have now. And Hoffman, he was the one who found that code for me, and so that's how I knew that what could not be done at a county level, it had to be done at a state level.
Well, and that's good information to know.
Yeah,
So it shows that the Utah County one is more of it's a non-binding resolution.
it's a resolution, is what it is.
Yeah. And we would like to make it a state law. Now, we're in an interesting time where we just got Democratic control on the federal level. And we've seen that across the states, that a lot of state, state governance has, Republican state governance or conservative state governments has been flexing.
Yeah.
And we want to ride that flex wave. And hopefully that flex wave doesn't die down next year so we can keep things like that going. Granted, there are things Republicans do that I dislike, but Republicans are out of power now governance-ly, and they've been out of power as far as the culture goes for quite a few years.
Yes.
So I hope now that, so they haven't put any new ideas forward because the culture's been against them. But I hope now they'll put some laws forward, now that they can go against the federal government and bolster the state. And it's what we got to hope for.
Yeah, the other thing I was looking at is there is something that we already have in our state constitution that does protect a portion of the populace.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only men up to the age of 45.
What's that?
There's I believe it was Amendment 13, maybe it's 15. It's a clause in the amendment in our state constitution about militias.
Okay.
And within there's two portions of it. The second portion actually says that the militia is made up of the general public,
Mm-hmm.
of men up to the age of 45. That needs to be changed to the populace,
Yeah.
and the age limit.
Yeah,
be in
I
there
would
as
cut
well.
the age limit off.
Yeah.
I'd put a lower age limit. You don't want a militia made up of 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
I'll bet every 14-year-old wouldn't mind that at all. But I do think we need to.
But the other portion does state that the militia is to be armed as the federal military.
Ooh, that might change the animal quite big.
Yes. So, and South Carolina is actually trying the same thing. And that's where I got the ideas from. South Carolina senator was looking into it. What is it? The 13th?
I'm not sure. This isn't saying it yet, but
I just look up the Utah State Constitution is where it was.
okay. Yeah, we'll keep looking, but go ahead and keep.
Anyway, so they don't have in the provision of how the militia should be armed, but their militia amendment reads the same as ours,
Okay.
where it's up to 45 and it's only man. Well,
Yeah.
it needs to be the populace, and like you said, a lower age limit, because like you said, you don't want some crazy 14-year-old out there running around shooting people. So
Yeah. Okay, it must be 15.
it's probably the 15th.
Looks like the 13 mirrors.
Yeah.
Let's see if this is it. It's a right to hunt and
So
fish.
that it's way before this then. I should have.
Yeah, that's all right.
All
we'll
right,
we'll just
6.
keep chatting.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe try the 6 because it was in the original document.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Well,
Whatever.
either way,
Anyways,
I'll keep digging it up, and if I don't find it tonight while we chat, I will I will, keep looking it up and then try to throw it up on the
But
page.
that I think we need to bring it into our century, because when it was written when we first became a state. Mm-hmm. And, men didn't live very long back then anyways. And so to them, 45, you're getting aged.
Yeah, and probably all the fathers of the church were 46 at the time.
Exactly.
And thought, well, this keeps it good, And that way, when the Mormon militia started its march towards, how did it go? Mormon militia went from here towards California, then to Missouri, and then back. It was for the Civil War, but Civil War had ended.
Yeah.
They didn't see any action, but it's the longest forced march in U.S. history. Okay, so now we are trying out a Petite Syrah, again from Mennebuck Cellars. And I'm going to go ahead and flash this up on this screen for everyone. So when you want to buy some wine from Tooele, you can, hold on, I gotta get some added in here. When you want to buy some wine from Tooele, Mennebuck Cellars, they go up to Washington and source their wines, and he goes up there and tastes them and tries it all out and kind of designs the blends he wants to bring home. Then he brings them home. He's actually got a cellar out on, I called a cellar, but it is a cellar out on the Army Depot. And that's where you go to purchase it. You go to their Facebook page is the easiest way to get a hold of them. And make an appointment. But as soon as you open up the Facebook page, a message box for them will open up, and it'll tell you, you have quick chats available, or you can send them a message and see what they have available. They advertise. These are great Christmas gifts, birthday gifts. Usually I buy them by the pair, so I have one that I can keep and then one I can taste and share with my friends. But this is a Petite Syrah. It's a good wine. I like my wines not very sweet. I like a little more tart.
That one's got an oaky taste to it.
Yeah.
It's definitely got the taste of the barrels.
Mm-hmm. And that's how I like it. A little more, I guess you'd call it dry with the tannins. But yeah, go to Mennebuck Cellars. Right now they've got 3 that they have for sale. They've got the Chardonnay. It's $18 a bottle. Barbera is $25 a bottle. That's the one we'll be trying next. And then they've got the Petite Syrah. It's $28 a bottle. But yeah, go down, at least check it out. This is a Tooele local business. You wanna support them. And they're good people. They're your friends and neighbors. All right, so let's get back to the gun talk. So we're going to reach out to our politicians and our representatives, government. Is there any other thing we can do? Can we pull together maybe a fair where we advertise it and talk about it?
We've been throwing it around, the admins in the group, and it's just the issue is all of us getting the time to do this together. It would be a good thing to do. It is an informal group without any war chest, without any. It's got admins for the page, but the admins, I'm one of the admins, and And
I'm
we don't, I'll be honest, we've never met.
Yeah, this is our first time meeting.
And the only one I know of the admins is Alex. And that's because he worked the gun counter at Cal Ranch, or did.
Yeah, then I probably know him too.
So, but we're informal. We have no funding. We're just...
Right now, we just post memes
Yeah.
and tell stories. That's
Well, I try to post laws that are being happening.
You do good stuff. We see when you come across. Most of the other stuff is just a guy making a joke or
Well,
a gal making it, which is also needed.
yes. Yeah.
Memedom is
Well, what I've found is it's actually, now that they're doing all these memes, the group is more active. When it first started, I mean, we are the biggest 2A county sanctuary group of all of the Utah county sanctuary groups. And we are...
and we're not a populated county either.
We're 500-600 members above Utah County, which is the next, because I'm in all of them. So I know what counties are doing what and where and how they're doing it. You know, like Weber just passed a resolution. Box Elder just passed a resolution.
Would the resolution do anything?
It doesn't do anything, but it does say that our politicians are not going to enforce. They're basically putting their foot down.
Well, so that may not be a bad thing in itself, even though it's
It's non-binding law.
non-binding, you know, but it's a resolution. It's them saying, look, I'm going to fight for you as much as I can.
Exactly. We need to get the sheriff on board, which Wimmer, he's definitely on board.
Yeah.
Alex talks to him all the time. And we just need to, you know, if we can get him to put out a formal statement or something. I haven't emailed him yet. I probably will. I looked up his information the other day. So I've been pretty active. And it's funny because I was one of those guys originally that, somebody else will do it.
Yeah.
And I'm in a bunch of groups on Facebook that are all 2A, you know, like UG and the Firearms Policy Coalition, stuff like that, and Utah Gun Rights. And that's where I got the idea to start the group, because there was a bunch of us in there from Tooele, but we had no representation out here. So we thought we need to get something semi-organized so that we can go after this.
Definitely.
You know, it's slowing the process. And I kind of look at it and think how these other counties with less people that are talking about it are getting stuff done, and we're not. Although we're getting more state level information from our councilmen.
It's funny. I think it's because Utah County doesn't have a lot of middle of the ground people. So when you had the pro gun guys go in, there was no anti-gun guys that even knew they existed. So it kind of just went right through.
Yeah.
There was no one fighting it. Where here we get some of the gray area.
We get the pushback. But see, just like at Iron County, they actually did an ordinance and a resolution. Resolution is a 2A strong one. Their ordinance, because of that state law, and I didn't realize the one guy that was in there, he was saying, yeah, we're going to talk about making an ordinance for it. So I put in there, you know, what about this state code? So what they had did is they circumvented that and didn't put anything in about firearms. But they did put in there that they're going to put a commission together where they will look into the constitutionality of laws passed federally and locally. Which is very interesting because
It's kind of ingenious.
yeah, it is. They kind of circumvented the whole thing. And it was an and
Any law that comes down from higher authority will be appraised onto its constitutionality.
exactly.
That
and
is
I actually took their ordinance and I screenshot all of it because they put it in Utah Gun Rights, Iron County as well, and sent it over to Councilman Hoffman so he could look into it and see what he could do on that front. But I haven't heard back to him yet. He's been in and out doing things, so.
Yeah.
But he's usually pretty Johnny on the spot to get back to me.
Good.
So.
Good. Now, what about taking the group and advancing it into a group that maybe has a little bit of a war chest, a bank account that they can do stuff with advertising, like just maybe just on a request basis. Hey, if every member sent in $5,
Yeah.
that that would be a substantial amount to work with. If every member sent in $1, we could make stuff happen. We could even do some advertising or put together a car show or a range day, or as a listener just mentioned, it'd be cool to do like a bullet drawing, especially because they're so expensive right now. So if people email a congressman, they get thrown into the drawing.
Yeah.
And that is an outstanding idea. Thank you, Laura. Because when you think about that, ammo is, not only is it expensive right now, but it's
like gold.
It's hard to get.
Yeah.
I mean, Cal Ranch on Wednesday, there's a lot of pitiful looking guys in there, and I'm one of them. Just hoping and praying that
that was the advantage of having Alex work there.
Yeah.
We'd get the message and you left the admin group. So
I did leave.
Yeah, you left the one admin group. I created a new one.
Oh, okay.
But he would say, "Hey, got ammo in. Who wants it? Oh, put up beside this."
Yeah, I'm probably just so swamped. I felt bad because a couple of the posts that I let through were flagged by Facebook.
They were flagged by Facebook because we were getting bots in the group.
Yeah, or a couple of people I let in, and yeah, so I was like,
I don't know if you know Eric Gumbrick. He's just a moderator. He's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Eric.
Okay. Tell me if you think he would allow something in there that's child pornography. No. I mean, come on.
No, Eric. And at first, hey, I'll be honest. If someone asks to join the group, I let them in.
Yeah.
Now I've gotten more discerning. They've got to be a resident out here.
Well,
if they're resident,
can't see that.
Well, if I don't see that, then they don't get in.
I look in their friends,
and
if they have mutual friends of mine, they're probably a Tooele County resident.
Okay, but if I don't see it, I've been denying.
And that's
them.
good. That's
because I saw that we got hit with that, and I'm like, I don't want to hurt the group,
it'll get shut down.
Where I was before that, I was let in happy. I was like, hey, bring the boost in numbers.
I was the same way.
So we've tightened that down. We made a lot of novice, mistakes. We are not savvy, on all the computer ways. So we made mistakes, but hopefully we're correcting them, and hopefully we can advance this. I would like to see it advance to not just a countywide thing, but to a statewide thing where it'd be nice to bring in some of the national organizations like GOA and
the FPC.
Yeah,
because the FPC is the one who,
as long as we don't tell the NRA that we're trying to keep guns safe.
Yeah,
the NRA is commonly the first to jump on the bandwagon of getting rid of them.
Anyways, the FPC, they're the ones who joined with what's his face, the one that Alex was going to try to get in here.
Yeah,
what's his name? I can't think of it. Clark, the Posion.
FPC, what is that?
Firearms Policy Coalition or something.
Oh, okay.
Like they do lawsuits and whatever. They help fund lawsuits, and they have a lot of petitions or whatever. And you can sign the petition, and you can donate to their cause, and then they put it towards legal fees.
Yeah, we could get the what is it, the SCCA, I mean, it'd be nice to hold an event in the summer where we have speakers from different groups. Maj Toure could come out and talk. There's lots of positive movement on gun ownership right now, and we could get those involved on a national level.
Well, exactly. Yeah. But we need to focus that on stuff like that, but we also need to focus on our local stuff and try to get them more involved.
And we do. We do.
And I know that the one, I can't remember, it's another group. They're the ones that always help with the protests, or not the protests, but the rallies up at the Capitol. All the pro-gun rallies. You got Utah Gun Exchange and The other one is Utah something, and I'm a member in their group, but
Yeah.
I can't think of who.
I remember the Utah Gun Exchange was big for a minute, but now it's not even got a place on Facebook anymore like it
They
used
got
to.
removed.
Yeah, so, and that's another thing. The tech industries are cracking down on gun ownership. It's, again, like we talked about before, there seems to be a alteration coming out of the colleges right now for leaning away from liberty-mindedness.
Yeah.
And I think that's showing up in everything, be it your political posts and gun ownership is
Which
is
is
under
funny
the
because we gained, what did they say, like 10 million more gun owners this last year or something like that. So it's
But-
off the scale. That's why we can't buy ammo.
But yeah, ammo and the price of guns gone. Well, even if you're a Silicon Valley guy who buys a firearm, does that mean you want the rest of the world to own them?
No, exactly.
Because they don't have a mind. They have a mindset of a nanny, which is what they're taught in college. You need to turn to a higher authority to manage every part of your life, and it's sad. It's sad that we send our kids off for them to become more competent people, for them to come back with, less desire to take control of their own life.
And what I've seen, and this is just looking at my children, it breeds two separate divisions, and there's no more middle of the road come together. My daughter is so far right wing that I would literally call her a nut. She's way out there, and I'm just like, okay,
Good.
bring it back a little bit.
My son went to a year of college, and he's extremely right wing, but they're a different right wing than what we grew up with.
Exactly.
They're a rebellious right wing that gets tattoos, and I mean, my son doesn't have any tattoos, but a lot of them, they'll get tattoos, but they're a conservative that is of a different ilk. It's interesting to watch.
Oh yeah, I'm like, okay, you're way beyond me. You need to come down to earth just a little bit. But what they say is when you get far left, you start developing a far right. So
Well, it's whichever culture's in control.
Yeah.
The left is in control right now. They're the ones who's trying to censor. When it was conservatives that censored when we were kids. Remember when
all
Tipper
the
Gore?
bills,
When Tipper Gore called what's his name from what's his name from he called what was that rock band name? Snyder, D. Snyder.
D. Snyder, yeah.
And
Twisted Sister.
Yeah. And then Al Gore's questioning him, about a song, and it was a song about a friend getting surgery or something. And Al Gore says to him, well, my wife heard in it, a song about sadomasochism. And D. Snyder says, well, that's because your wife was listening for that or something. And Al Gore about lost it. I thought we were about to see violence.
Well, I mean, they went after what's his face from Hustler. And that was our generation.
And they were conservative Democrats mostly, but Republicans were in on that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the leadership at the time was Democrats. Tipper Gore was Al Gore's wife, and I think Hillary Clinton was in there. She was background person in there because she just poisoned her name with trying to take health care over. But I remember that, and we've come full circle where now the progressive wing is in charge of culture, and now they want to restrict speech.
Yeah. Which isn't a good thing.
No.
That was proven many, many years ago.
Yeah, it's a scary thing. I mean, when you look at, what was it, England had, off the top of my head, something like 7,000 arrests last year for social media posts. That is insane for a thought being put on a web page.
It's stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's where the 2A comes back in.
Yeah.
Because if we lose that, look at England. Look at where they're at. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things.
Well, the two-way is the teeth of the amendments.
And so far, looking at on a national scope of things, a lot of the executive orders that Biden just did, they were kind of front, just kind of a virtue signaling type thing.
Yeah.
It's still dangerous.
Well,
but he's going after ghost guns and that, which
I love how they just make up names for
Yeah, I
stuff. A ghost.
I'm sorry, if I'm gonna do a mass shooting, there's no way you're gonna sit there and build a gun for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Buy the 80% kit. Buy the die. Buy the different bits. The exact
and the names they make. Yeah, you're right. Assault rifle.
Yeah, they just name it a ghost gun. Well, would that technically be a gun without a serial number then? So someone files a serial number off. Does that become a ghost gun? So does that take it from where a guy who loves firearms enough that he's going to build his own, he wants to know that thing inside and out. You know, he wants to be romantically involved with this piece that he's building. Does that make it so that the same, drug dealer who buys a $200 snub-nosed revolver and then files the serial numbers off and scars it in a way to where, it's not as traceable? Does that put those two in the same category?
I have no idea.
The one that scares...
But if you read it, it actually doesn't. If the executive order that he passed, it legitimately goes after this, but it says they're kits. I've never seen one in a kit. I see you buy the 80% lower.
You buy an 80% lower.
And then you go and you buy this, and then you go buy. There's no kit.
Every other part of that firearm you can buy without any record of it. It's the lower receiver. The part that houses the trigger has to have a serial number on it.
Yep.
That's the rule. And then I don't like where he wants to have a federal license.
Yeah, no.
And a cost registration.
Yep.
So
the thing
what that does is that eliminates people that are lower middle class and lower class from the means to self-defense.
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes a two-tiered system where they are at the mercy of, they're living in Southside Chicago and they're innocent people.
Yeah.
And that's what it makes it. I don't like that.
No. And then he's trying to do it that way. He's making, like you said, it's a two-tiered system, and he's trying to put people in classes again.
Uh-huh.
Rich, poor.
Well, that's exactly what the FFL did.
Yep. So,
or not the FFL, the Federal Firearms Act of, what was it, 45 or whatever. That's exactly what it did, because the tax stamp hasn't changed since then.
Yeah.
It was $200 then. But $200 then was
a lot of money.
3 months of pay for the average, American. So that priced people out of the market of owning firearms to compete with the wealthy, who defended themselves, and it just makes victims.
Yeah.
And it makes the most defenseless the easiest to be victimized.
Which is what they want. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. I think he's just doing it to posture so that he gets reelected. He's got no back. Well, okay, I shouldn't say he's got no backbone. Whoever writes his paperwork for him has no backbone.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not saying that to be cruel.
No, you're not. It's
they're being cruel.
I mean, come on, Australia got banned from Facebook for it.
Yeah, they're being cruel by putting a poor old man with dementia in the White House.
I agree. It's pretty disgusting. But as far as all the rest of the bills, and, by me saying this, people are going to get complacent, but they're not going to go anywhere. It's going to be the Republicans didn't let it through, so
Yeah.
the Democrats can.
And it's the
have
perfect time for them to put it in where they
Yeah.
can't get a
because
majority.
of the filibuster in the Senate. There's no way in hell that these are ever going to get past that, because there's not going to be 10 Republicans that
Honestly,
go that way.
I don't think we should have federal firearms laws.
There shouldn't be. It should be up
Firearms
to the
laws
states.
should be local.
Exactly.
I believe in the 10th Amendment. So if Illinois wants to have no guns in Illinois, all right, that's fine. Illinois have no guns, you know?
Yep.
And if Missouri wants to have all the guns, all right, Missouri have all the guns. And if Nevada wants to, you know, maybe some, maybe not.
Have
All right.
North and South Nevada.
Yeah, do whatever you want. You mean north and the very bottom corner, Nevada?
Yeah. Well, there is also the Lake Tahoe, Reno area as well.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, Reno's a little different. I think they're a little more, classical liberal minded. They let, I don't think they're totally against guns. Lake Tahoe, that's a crossover with California. But that's a crossover with Northern California too. So I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it depends on which part of Northern California. You got San Francisco.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
I don't know if that counts. I don't think Northern California thinks that counts.
So, yeah, send them down south. But yeah, it's as far as all that's concerned, I'm not too concerned with that. But we can't have complacency, and email our senators and congressmen and women up there. We got Chris Stewart's our representative in the House. Hit up Lee and Mitt.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's exactly. That's why Mitt.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about him either, but
What do you think that Petite Syrah?
it's not bad. I kind of like the oak.
Now this is the Barbera.
Yeah,
I like that Petite Syrah had a little bit of a bite to it. Had a tart bite.
Yeah.
It had lots of tannins in it. These are all words I've learned over the last year from the people at Mennebuck Cellars. But yeah, get on down. And now this is the Barberry.
yeah. This is a little more fruity.
Yeah, a little sweeter.
It's not like a Moscato, and I know Moscato because that's what my wife drinks.
No, yeah.
So,
Yeah, this one is a lot. This one doesn't have near the dry bite that the Petite Syrah, for having a gentle name, sure does have. If I was to choose
It's not
line, that's
petite.
where I would go. Yeah,
it is not petite.
I would go with that. But
Yeah, it was pretty good.
this is good. This would be good with a pasta, I think.
I was going to say it's pasta and a steak, but
Yeah,
there you go.
this would be real good with it.
Look at us. We're to become chefs and connoisseurs of wine.
Yeah, this is good. Well, we're getting ready to close up the show. Dave never did jump in, but of course, he's in Hawaii, which is fine. But I want to thank you for coming down, Jason. Let's draw out a quick push to have people join the Tooele County 2A movement. And if you're listening, you're not in Tooele County, join a 2A movement wherever you are. And
In fact, all of them, there's one for almost every county in Utah except for Salt Lake. Go figure.
well, I know I'll fall over shocked later, but join it, get involved. It's up to us to become members of our community, vocal members, citizens, really.
Yeah.
And then join it. Find out who your state senators are, your federal senators. Talk to them, throw them support. I like Lee. He seems to have a good mind on him. I mean, imagine if I was to rank him, Lee would probably be, on my third of the federal politicians I like. We can't all have a Thomas Massey because there's only one of him, but but I do like Lee, and I'll throw my support behind him. And I'll even say if Romney shows up as an honest actor in this, I'll throw my support behind him too.
Yeah.
You know,
And seeing that's it. And what's weird with him, you never know he's like Cox. You don't know what you're getting every day.
yeah.
He might be there, and then he might go the opposite direction next day.
I think it's a lack of principles on his part. He doesn't have.
I think it's he's got way too much federal money coming in, so
Yeah.
he'd rather get that than step on toes.
I think you're right. He doesn't have principles. I remember Amash whenever he used to. Oh, all right, Tiffany. Where's Tooele County join link? All right, I will throw the link up in the show notes and also on the page. And yes, it is free to join, people. But anyways, Amash, as I was saying, every time he used to sign a bill, he would always justify it constitutionally. All right, we've got a few people joining up. Wonder if it's from the show. But anyways, he would always justify it constitutionally. So he would write a sometimes multiple page report to all right. Lives in South Jordan, he's in.
Yeah, good enough.
That's my thing. If you're in Utah or if
now that it's no longer a county thing,
Yeah.
Utah.
Or if you're in Nevada,
Yeah.
I will throw my support. If you're in, I've got a lot from the Philippines lately.
Really?
Yeah. All right. Throwing the link up now. Just in the comments. Maybe. All right. There we go. Yeah. Just click that link and sign up. There's also a Utah County 2A. I mean, just put in county 2A, whatever you want. You'll find it. But yeah, the Philippines. I've had a lot from the Philippines trying to sign up lately.
Interesting.
And I catch them at 6 a.m, when they're awake. And I think I've had 3 in the last 2 weeks. And that one, I'm just, they may be an honest actor, but I'm not going to take that chance.
Oh, yeah. I don't put them in.
Yeah.
I've had a few from different countries like that, but anytime, if they're outside the U.S., in fact, I have allowed 2 or 3 in that are not in Utah.
Yeah.
There's one guy in North Carolina, and he always posts about Green or whoever his representative is, the one that's always in trouble back there.
And you know what? There's no reason why a Utah boy couldn't write him a letter saying,
Yeah.
good job, keep up the good work, and give him a bolster.
But the reason why I let him in is I went through his Facebook page, and everything on there is 2A related laws throughout the nation. So why not?
That guy's probably just in every group he finds.
Probably.
Just red eye, middle of the night, got a Red Bull, pounding it while he just educates. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. So I admitted him. So
Yeah. Yeah. So join the group. When you get in there, have a look around, be respectful. We don't want to post anything that will scare Facebook. Now, of course, we're going to review it as it comes through and try to discern what Mark Zuckerberg finds palatable.
but we hate. I absolutely. It makes me sick to my stomach when I have to censor one of your comments.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Whatever, because I'm for 2A, so I'm for 1A as well. I know what's going to get us banned off of Facebook,
Yeah.
so I have to play by their rules. And there's been posts, and I've had to decline them because I know for a fact they're getting censored, and I just
Yeah. Keep violence out of it. Keep direct threats out of it. Definitely
no
keep,
firearm sales, no ammo sales.
Yeah, that's
That's a
not
no-no.
allowed on Facebook anymore. You know how many guns I bought off Facebook back in the day? Man,
Not
I
allowed
bought
anymore.
like 3 guns back in the day. I don't even own those guns anymore, but I bought 3 guns back in the day. Of course I lost all my, Biden, I lost all my guns in my boating accident last week, rod and shot club, went out there. I'd take them all. I don't know why. It's too much for the boat. But anyways, yeah. But become a part of it. And even if you're leery on the Second Amendment or you have an opinion on the direction where the law should go. Join groups like this so you can try to get your opinion out and educate people. You know, I'm a free speech absolutist and I'm a Second Amendment absolutist. But if you've got an opinion that doesn't match mine, I still want to hear it. I want the debate.
No, exactly. That's how we became a country.
It's how we become
and
better.
see, one of the things to join used to say, "Are you a Democrat spy?" Well, guess what? I know Democrats that own firearms and that are so 2A friendly that.
Yeah.
So I removed that question, and I know personally of one woman in there that had owned firearms when she was little. You know, she learned how to shoot, and when COVID hit, she thought she needed to get a new one for her home and learn how to use it. So I added her to the group, and she learned a ton.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. Our group isn't just about laws or whatever. We did do a cleanup day at the shooting range south of Stockton.
Okay.
Me and Alex organized it and had a bunch of people come out. We loaded up 2 or 3 pickup trucks full of crap, hauled it to the dump. You know, we do stuff like that. We do shooting days occasionally.
That's another means we could make money for the group.
Yeah.
Selling the brass.
Yeah.
Keep the clean brass. I know Phoenix Ammunition will buy your brass if it's clean brass.
We just chucked it all, but yeah.
If you got a tumbler, you can tumble brass too. And they pay for it. You know, you mail it off to them. And even if it breaks even, we need to put that brass back into the market.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that's killing ammo prices is the brass.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's another thing we
All
can
the
do.
brass and the lead because they shut down all the lead factories
Yeah.
in the U.S. So
Yeah. It's killing us.
that's why they're going with copper jacketing and that. That is outrageous. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But thanks for joining us, everyone. The barberry's good. If you like a sweet, not a sweet red, but a gentle red, go with Judge Lupe, the barberry here, or Barbera, barberry. Go with the Barbera. It's really good. If you like a strong beer or a strong wine, go with the Petite Syrah. That is, that would be my choice because I'd like to know I'm drinking it. And if you like a white wine, but it has strong tannin notes and a good tart, go with the Chardonnay. But check out Manitowoc Cellars. Just look them up on Facebook. Reach out, and they'll be more than happy to help you out. And look in the show notes. I'll have a link in the show notes for Tooele County 2A and for Manitowoc Cellars. And if you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Jason. You can reach out to just general posts in the Tooele County 2A. We are passionate about our firearms. You know, maybe we should set up some training days where we go out to the range and a guy who knows some stuff.
With that, our one of our admins, Weston, he does, that is his actual job, is firearms training.
Good.
And he posts in the group occasionally when he's out of Utah County, actually. He is a Tooele resident originally, moved to Utah County. I think he's in Eagle Mountain.
Okay.
But he trains, takes people out, teaches them how to shoot the proper ways, safety, all that. So, you know, he does charge, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know, reach out to
if
any
you
of us.
can afford training, find someone who knows how to handle it. You know, find multiple people. I know most police officers out here will be happy to go out to the range with you and you know, do some training with you, and at the same time you're bolstering your police force because they don't train enough. So you give them an excuse and a reason to get out on the dirt and throw some lead down range, and that gives them some more training and you can practice stuff. There's a lot of good stuff. Find training, seek it, become proficient with your system of choice.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks again, Jason. And I will see. Dave should be back, and we will be back on next Thursday. We'll see you then.